Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next session in day 3 of the Peralta Online Equity Conference. You're here to learn from and work with Drs. Mukerji and Anjana from India, and they're going to tell us about system sustenance under challenging circumstances, institutional experiences, and experiments of a university in a developing nation. We're excited to start that. So before we begin, just a reminder that we are being recorded for all of our colleagues who couldn't join us in real time. So hello, everyone who's watching the recording. We also have the captions turned on for your use if you wish. So just use that closed caption button at the bottom of your Zoom window and then choose show subtitle and you'll be ready to go. Those subtitles will begin appearing at the bottom of your screen. We also encourage comments and questions in the chat. So please use the chat to tell us what you're thinking, share resources that might arise in your mind when you hear the speakers, and ask questions about their topic. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Drs. Mukerji and Anjana from Indira Gandhi National Open University in India. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. This is Siran Mukerji, and I have my friend and colleague, Dr. Anjana, with me. I am additional director in Indira Gandhi National Open University, and I am based at New Delhi. The university is also based at New Delhi. And Anjana, my colleague, she's assistant regional director with us. She's my friend, and she's also at the same university, and she's also based at New Delhi. Today, we're going to discuss and we're going to share, give you an insight into the various steps, various initiatives that our university had taken during the last 2 years for the sustenance of the whole system, because you know how the things had been during the last 2 years. It was very tough. I'm talking of the COVID-19 pandemic. So keeping that in view, our institution is a national public university with an all India mandate. So our institution had a lot of challenges because we cater to the educational needs of the students of varied age groups. Of course, only higher education needs, students of various age groups all across the country. Let me just begin. Well, as you see here, this is just I would just like to tell you about the various kind of institutions, just to give you an idea about the kind of institutions in the higher education setup we have in India. So there are colleges, there are universities, we have the central universities, and then we have the state universities, then we have the standalone institutions, and then we have the affiliating universities. Well, the standalone institutions, they are the institutions like we have the centers of excellence, like we have the Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Science, Indian Agriculture Research Institute. So these are the specialized standalone institutions. So that gives us a profile about the higher education institutions existing in India. I will not go very much in detail because our focus here is to share with you the steps and the initiatives which our university had taken during the last 2 years of circumstantial challenges that we had. If you see, this gives you an idea about the number of such institutions, the different kind of institutions in higher education setup in India. As you see here, Central University, we have 48 central universities, and our university, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University, is one of the central university, and this is where we are based. And as you see here, we have state open universities, then we have state private universities and state public universities. Similarly, all the central universities, they are all public universities. Then we have the deemed universities, deemed private, deemed government aided institutions. So that's about the different kind of institutions existing in the higher education setup in India. This tells us about why I included this particular information here is I just wanted to tell you the kind of role that our institution or the distance education setup is playing in India in providing educational opportunities to the people. As you see here, if you see the enrollment in the undergraduate as well as the graduate level, you see the distance education enrollment is much more than the regular enrollment or the conventional system, which shows the important place that these distance education institutions are occupying in India. Now, this is where I would like to highlight the importance of DEI. As you know, our country is a very large, highly populous country with a very diversified geographical setup, very diversified socio-cultural economic setup. So, these our distance education institutions are basically catering to these diversified stakeholders. That is our target audience. They belong to different states, right from very remote rural locations in the hills, in the mountains, to the deserts, etc. Now we come to our university. My colleague is going to take you through that.
Hello, everyone. And thank you, Kevin and Idem, for providing us this opportunity to be a part of Peralta Online Equity Conference. We are glad to be here. And before we thank you so much. Before we discuss about the measures that university has taken for sustaining during the challenging circumstances, we just want to give you a brief insight about our university, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University, located headquarters at New Delhi and otherwise spread across the country and outside India. So it's the only public open university in India, and it was established by an act of parliament in the year 1985. And it has continuously striven to build an inclusive knowledge society through inclusive education. I'll just read out the mandate of the university. That is to provide access to higher education to all segments of the society, to offer high quality, innovative and need-based programs at different levels to all those who require them. Then reach out to the disadvantaged by offering programs in all parts of the country at affordable costs. Promote, coordinate, and regulate the standards of education offered through open and distance learning in the country. Now, moving on to the vision. A vision of the university, since ours is a national resource center for open and distance learning, and it has, as I have already said, that we have international presence as well as recognition. The vision of our university is to provide seamless access to sustainable and learner-centric quality education, to upgrade the skills and provide training to all using innovative technologies and methodologies, and to ensure convergence of existing systems for large-scale human resource development, which is required for promoting integrated national development and global understanding. Just to highlight the vastness of our university, we have put this slide just to show a little bit of data. If you see, we have 281 programs on offer, and these are programs which range from certificate level to doctorate level, certificate, diploma, PG diploma, undergraduate degree, postgraduate degree, and of course, doctorate level. These are the levels of programs. And if we just talk about the last 2 sessions of enrollment, there are more than 1.3 million students enrolled during the last 2 sessions, that is January 21 and July 21. Such is the vastness of our country. And if we talk about all the students that are on roll in the university at present, we have 3.4 million students. We have 3-tier structure at headquarters. We have 21 schools of studies. All across the country, we have 67 regional centers. And at the 3rd level come the learner support centers. So at headquarters level, where the schools of studies are located, the programs are designed and developed there, all the policy formulation and all the top level tasks that are performed by a university that are taken care of at the headquarters level. Then come the regional centers where myself and my senior colleague, Dr. Siran Mukerji, we are located. We are at the regional center, and we are the nodal point for contact for the students. We are in touch with the students for providing all kind of academic and administrative support services. And then come the learner support centers. These learner support centers are established in the higher educational institutions across the country and into the remotest of the remote areas, in the rural areas, to the extreme of the conditions, geographical conditions. We have our learner support centers to provide academic support services, that is face-to-face counseling, and all kind of other academic support services where the students are in contact with the teachers, which we call academic counselors in IGNOU. You see the number here, we have more than 51,000 academic counselors, and they are actually the teachers of the conventional system, conventional higher educational systems. For IGNOU, they are providing counseling or teaching to our students. Recently, on 26th of this month, we had 35th convocation of our university, and you can see the figure, 291,000, more than 291,000 students have been awarded the degrees, diplomas, and certificates during this convocation. Now, some of the ICT initiatives, these are just a few that we are given here. One is the SWAM. We'll be talking about these ICT initiatives a little later during this session when we'll be walking through the virtual tour. Then we'll be talking about these platforms. We have just given the initiatives. We have just given the names. One is SWAM, the other one SWAM Prabha, and the third one eCampus. So without getting into the details of this particular aspect that we'll be taking later, let's move ahead with the next slide.
Dr. Mukerji, you're on mute. Dr. Mukerji, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You would be surprised to know that when I talk of marginalized sections of the society, providing educational facilities, teaching and learning facilities to the marginalized sections of the society, I mean the people who are there as far as, the desert villages of Rajasthan, the state of Rajasthan, that is the western part of India, Gujarat, and also I would say, the islands like the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So, we have our learner support centers even in the Nicobar Islands, which is a very small population base. And those, you'll be glad to know that those students don't have to come to the main island, to the mainland to appear for the exams. They are provided examination center there. They are provided with all the support services there. As my colleague said, academic counseling. Counseling means the academic teaching. They are provided teaching support there. So all the academic input is provided to all the students all across the country, irrespective of their class, religion, their location, their geographical setup. We have our learner support centers providing this kind of very vast support to all the students. Now here I would also like to say that it is not only very affordable, it is government subsidized. The education is government subsidized through our university because our university is a national public university, but it is also free of cost. Now see, when I talk of, this was diversity, now I talk of equity. Now equity, when I'm talking of equity, I would like to tell you that we are not only providing education to the girls, to the adults, the adult women in the villages, but also we are providing free education to the jail inmates, those people who are there in the prisons. So we have our own centers managed by the prison in coordination with our regional offices. And there the prisoners are provided this educational support, but selective, because practical oriented or project oriented courses are not possible for the prisoners. But yes, we try to provide them need based professional courses to these prisoners. It's a kind of rehabilitation, you can say. Rehabilitation facilities we are trying to give them, so that when they come out of the prison, they have this skill, the training, the qualification to manage their life. Then I would also say that as you know, the armed forces, the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, the BSF, the CRPF, now all these soldiers, they are posted at very, very far-flung remote areas. They are at the borders. Now, they would like to enhance their education. They would like to enhance their skills, their professional qualifications. So IGNOU, our university, has got 11 these centers, regional offices in the armed forces areas. So like, these are project based, like we have Gyandeep, Akashdeep, these are the names of the projects. And through these projects, we are providing educational facilities to the armed forces in India. Then as you see, there are specialized professional programs. We are providing health, family welfare programs, like we have, certificate in food and nutrition. Then we have certificate in early childhood care, certificate in nursing. So then certificate in critical care nursing. These are all, then geriatric medicines. So such kind of different kinds of educational programs, professional programs for health and family welfare. Such kind of programs are offered by our university, the School of Health Sciences. They are providing it. Then we have specialized agriculture and farmers welfare programs. So, we have these agriculture universities and colleges in India. So we have a tie-up, we collaborate with these agriculture universities and colleges, and we try to provide specialized courses, like, for example, sericulture, courses on beekeeping, courses on agro farming. So such kind of courses are being provided, specialized courses are being provided to the people who are there in the rural areas, the farmers, that's for their skill upgradation. Similarly, we have other courses like environment sustainable development programs for generating, awareness about ecology, environmental friendly measures for sustainable development. So such kind of courses are also being offered by our university. Now I would like to come to the actual thing, that is how our system sustained and how did our system help the students during the last 2 years in continuing with their education. Well, it was almost like a transformation, but the evolution process is still on. I would say that, as you all know, globally, the pandemic, the COVID-19 threat isn't over as yet. We are still there. Some countries 4th wave, some countries 5th wave, and that's almost like an emergency. It is a special challenge circumstance which all of us across the world we are facing. But then, the students, they have their anxieties. They don't know, they feel that, how are we going to complete our education, because on and often we are having, lockdowns. So as you see here, I'll just quickly go through these points. Admissions, we had earlier it was a hybrid system. So part of the admission to certain courses, they were online, and certain courses, like for example, those courses wherein there were entrance exams, entrance tests to the courses, those were hybrid. So due to this pandemic, from March 2020 onwards, our admission was completely online, so that the students didn't have to go anywhere. They could take the admission, they could choose the courses, they could pay for the fees, they could interact with the colleges completely online, and they got their admission, so they didn't lose anything. After the admission was over, the next challenge that our university faced was with this large student base. How do we provide them the first introduction or the induction meetings? So again, induction meetings earlier, we used to have induction meetings in the colleges, where we had our learner support centers with the teachers. The students would be invited there, the teachers would come, and they would give them all the induction. They would give them introduction about the courses that they're going to study, the methodology, the pedagogy, everything. But then due to COVID-19, again, since the colleges were closed, country was under lockdown, so we had to move from face-to-face to online. So in the online, we used all these platforms, which most of the other higher education institutions were using. We were using these platforms, and in these platforms, what we did, because, our country is very diverse. As I told you, we have people in the rural areas. They don't have always access to internet. So it was just not online learning, it was also e-learning. So we had the resources, the students who could attend the induction meeting, the classes online, that was fine. After that, we had an additional responsibility of, uploading all these videos, all these sessions in the YouTube. So that, the students could, whenever they wanted, whenever they had time, or whenever they had internet access, they could download those videos and they could watch, and they would not lose anything. They would not lose anything out part of the curriculum. So that was how it was. Our pedagogy, as you might be aware, earlier we used to follow the flipped classroom. So the students, they would know that this is the unit, this is the course, this is the chapter that I'm supposed to be learning. So they would maybe revise that. They would go to the class, then the teacher would discuss with them. But once in the last 2 years, again, this had to be changed. So from flipped, we moved to online teaching. So online teaching naturally meant better connectivity with the students. Students did not feel isolated being at home. They never felt the anxiety that, we're going to lose our session, we're going to lose our year. That was not there, and the continuity was maintained. Then the learning material, in our university, we provide the students all the books. The books go to the students by post. By post, they are sent to them. That was earlier. So now all that had to be transformed. So from the hard copy of the material, it was all transformed to eGyan Kosh. That is the portal that is the web content where now the students have access to their complete course curriculum, complete material there. So they can just log in there and they can download, or they can directly study from there. So that was another major transformation that we had during the last 2 years. Internal evaluation, it is formative assessment. There we had problems, because how to do the internal evaluation. Earlier, the students, they used to submit their assignments, handwritten assignments, to the learner support centers, which would be evaluated by the teachers. Now, during pandemic, the students were not able to go and submit them there. So naturally, we had to resort to Google Forms, Google Docs, Google sharing documents, LMS, and that's how the internal assessment, the formative assessment was done. Summative assessment, let me be very frank with you, we had to wait. Once the lockdown was lifted, the situation was a little normal, and keeping complete COVID protocol, social distancing, masking, and all that stuff, we had to conduct face-to-face examination, because the system is too big, too many students. So that the session wise, the examinations was conducted. That was face-to-face. That was pen paper examinations, but with COVID protocols followed. Then I would also like to tell you another significant development that we had. We used to have alumni meets earlier. A regular, maybe, periodical thing, we used to have alumni meets. Now, COVID-19 does not mean that we don't have alumni meets. So we organized periodical, let's say quarterly online alumni meets, so that, the students, those who were passing out during this period also, they could meet on the e-platform, and, they could share their experiences with the newly admitted students. So that was one thing. And as my colleague, she told you that recently on 26th of April, we had our 35th convocation. So in that, for the first time, the degrees, apart from, the hard copy, the paper degrees, the degrees were also awarded to the students. More than 64,000 degrees were awarded to the students through blockchain technology. So these were the various transformations that we had during the last 2 years to sustain the system, to ensure sustainability, to ensure continuity, to provide educational facilities to the diverse stakeholders, to the segments of the society, ensure equity, and also ensure inclusiveness. So these were the thing. Now, that was a student. I would also like to highlight on one thing, that it was just not the students who were being taken care of during the last 2 years. We also had continuous professional development for the teachers also, which meant that the orientation, the faculty development programs, the human resource development programs that were being conducted 2 years prior to the COVID, those programs were also continued. We resumed them. Initially, there was a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, that how do we continue with this competency enhancement, skill enrichment programs for the teachers. So finally, we have in our university, our training center, which is by the name of Stride. So Stride organized online orientation programs, online refresher programs, which are of different durations, as per the requirements, as per the career progression levels of the teachers. And then also we had these, online MOOCs, which were offered by the SWAM platform that my colleague is going to take on later on. And also, let me tell you, another significant part was that 2 years, or let's say 2.5 years, did not mean that the people who were expecting their next promotions, they got held up. That it didn't happen. So the career advancement, the career progression, the interviews that were to be conducted for the various levels, let's say from lecturer to assistant professor to associate professor, or let's say from deputy director to additional director. So those interviews were also conducted online. So the people, the teachers, our colleagues, they were at home, safe at home, I would say, and they were appearing for the interviews and they got promoted. So as you see, traditional to online, and online to now, that situation in our country is slightly better, I would say. So the higher education institution, the colleges, the universities are opening, but that does not mean that we revert back to the traditional face-to-face system. So we are now following the hybrid teaching and learning environment. It's kind of the high flex system. So as we see that, still the things are very uncertain, it's very fluid. So although the institutions are opening, but as I would say, as per our experiences here, as per our institutional experiences, ICT in education is going to stay. It is going to stay, although in a very hybrid manner.
Stop sharing.
I'm doing it.
Okay. Am I audible? I don't know if I'm audible or not.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So this is the time to go for a virtual tour. And let me start with the SWAYAM platform that we were talking about. This SWAYAM, it is the platform that has been designed and developed to cater to the 3 cardinal principles of education policy, that is to provide access, education, and quality. And if I talk about the full form of this SWAYAM, it is a study webs of active learning for youth and aspiring minds. This is the platform that is being coordinated by 9 national coordinators, and one of the coordinators is Indira Gandhi National Open University. As you might be able to see on your screens, that for out of the school education, this IGNO is there as the national coordinator, and through this platform, education is provided for the school level, for the undergraduate education level, and for the postgraduate education level. Of course, there are various other coordinators, including Indira Gandhi National Open University. One thing that I would like to tell here is that the online courses, the MOOCs, that are being offered through this platform, once the program is completed through this platform, the credits are transferred to the formal educational qualification, that is the conventional one. So once a student completes or a learner completes any course from this platform, their credits are taken care of for inclusion in their formal degree. or diploma or whatever the case may be. And that has been duly notified by our regulatory authority in India, which is University Grants Commission. So next, let me show you some of the courses. Just to give a brief overview, here if we opt for IGNOU and we just go to the courses, as of now, the enrollment is not open for any of the courses because the session is already started, but you'll find that there are a number of courses which are being offered by our university. And one thing here, the course duration varies from 4 weeks to 24 weeks. And the examinations are conducted, of course, the proctored examinations are there for quiz and internal assessment. That is all online through this platform itself. And there's a 4-quadrant approach that is being followed for the online courses. But for the certification purpose, there are proctored examinations that are conducted at designated exam centers across the country that a student can appear as per their own choice. Then here is the option to select if one wants to take the course which is having some credits that can be transferred, then one has the provision to opt from here. And if one just wants to take some course just for taking the knowledge, not for the credit transfer purpose, then accordingly the categorization will be seen from here. Just let me locate my screen. Has gone, I suppose. Let me share it again. This is coming somewhere else. It's coming up. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. There was some problem this side. I missed it. Now moving on to the Swam Prabha. This is yet another project of Government of India. And this is a bouquet of 34 direct-to-home, free-to-air educational channels. Through these channels, the videos are provided to the students through the television. And if we go to the higher education, there are 22 channels for higher education purpose. And if I just scroll it down just to show you where we are located, how we are performing, this is for Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU. This is channel number 17 to 24 channels are there with IGNOU. And we are providing videos every day for 4 hours, which is being repeated 5 times again during the day so that the students can watch at their convenience. The courses are being offered, videos are being offered for social sciences and humanities, basic and applied sciences, professional and vocational education, and for state open universities and teacher education. And it's not just that once the program is delivered or the video is delivered, that has gone. No, that doesn't mean that it will go. That is all under the archives. So whenever a video is completed, these are archived so that if anyone wants to refer it later on, these can be accessed. And one more interesting thing over here is that these videos are provided in 13 regional languages across the country, not just in English or not just in Hindi, but 13 regional languages that may include Punjabi or maybe other regional languages. And if I take you to just a little ahead in this particular platform itself, there are 12 channels which are from class 1 to 12, which is the presently system of education in India. That a dedicated channel is there for school education from class 1 to class 12. And likewise, the schedule is uploaded in advance and the upcoming courses are there, then archive is there. Next, taking you to the eGyan Kosh. This is the national repository, national digital repository, where the digital learning resources is stored, indexed, preserved, and distributed. And this is the one that is developed by Indira Gandhi National Open University and other open and distance learning institutions in the country. Yes, the content here is copyrighted and one cannot use it freely, but for all the programs which are on offer in IGNOU, that may be of any level, all the study material is available here in the digital form that my colleague Dr. Mukerji was telling about. That all is available there. And not just the digital study material. In addition to that, we have, as Siran ma'am was telling that during the COVID-19 situation, we had Facebook live sessions, we had YouTube live sessions. So all those videos have also been archived, and you can see here that we have Facebook live recorded videos. Program-wise categorization is there. In addition to that, we have school-wise categorization of YouTube videos. That I was telling you that we have 21 School of Studies. So they also have their YouTube channels, and the videos that were delivered there, those have been archived and made available to the students for their later studies. So it was a blessing in a disguise that we could create a lot of resources we could create during these 2 years, and that could be preserved and stored as a national repository. So these were 3 major platforms for where the content of IGNOU is being provided. In addition to that, I'll also like to share a few of the other platforms which are there under the National Mission on Education through ICT, which is that of Government of India. One of these is Epachala, E for electronic and P for Pachala. Pachala means in Hindi, the Pachala, it means school in English, but actually this is the gateway for postgraduate courses. Here you can see that this is the platform which is dedicated to curriculum-based interactive e-content in 70 different subjects across all the disciplines of social sciences, arts, fine arts, humanities, natural and mathematical sciences. If we take you a little down in this page, you'll find that we have 22,000 plus modules, which are e-text, videos, downloadable forms. Just to give you an insight into it, if I just go to first one of that, go to adult education and opt the one of the courses there, just any of them. You'll find that the material is there in the form of e-text, and if one wants to further deepen into that particular subject or the topic, then learn more is there, then self-learning videos are there. So such kind of resources are available there on Epachala. Then if the student wants to assess their level of preparation for an examination, then you can see that here are the quizzes, and the students can easily opt their subject of their choice, then their paper, their module, and they can start performing the quiz, and in a way they can assess their preparation for examination. And just to show that on this platform, we have 20,000 plus e-text, 19,000 plus videos developed by 3,200 plus experts and 30,000 plus quizzes in 70 subjects and in 723 papers. Now, moving on to another platform, which is National Digital Library. Here you can see we have more than 81 million resources. And the resources are not just in English, but more than 200 plus languages. Just to show you over here, if I opt any subject, and first level subject, maybe computer science is there. I'm just trying to give you a brief overview because this is too deep to study, and one has to explore on their own. But yeah, just to give a brief overview here, I'm showing that if you go to the educational level, you will find that the material that is available there, that ranges from Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Technology, Bachelor of Technology, Masters in many subjects. Then these are also up to the level of school, the material which is available. According to the difficulty level, one can select educational level that I was talking about, UG and PG level, adult education, up to lower classes, it is there, but one has to just filter it. Then if one wants to download the material in different formats, in this material is available in different formats also. Languages I was talking about, not just English, Arabic, Afrikaans, Bengali, German, so many languages, more than 200 languages are there in which the material is available on this particular platform, that is National Digital Library of India. So I'll not dive deep into this, but would request our participants, our audience, if they're interested, they can just go to this platform and utilize these resources for their own studies or whatever purpose may be referenced. Now, one more thing, that is the virtual labs, yet another project by Ministry of Education, Government of India, under the same project, NMEICT. here are the virtual labs. The purpose of these labs are to provide remote access to simulation-based labs, because there are many colleges located in the remotest of the areas where the infrastructural facilities are not that sound that students may get access to the world-class infrastructure. So for those students, these simulation-based labs are located in premier institutions in the country, and through the internet only, they can get access to these labs and they perform the remote experiments. So this is one of the major initiative, I would say, in advancement of practical component for providing hands-on experience to learners. So I will not go further into details and the platforms. I'll stop sharing my screen, and we would love to have any questions if anyone is having. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
So there is one question in the chat. It is, am I to understand that all types of universities, both public and private, share and collaborate in the use of all of these central resources and repositories?
No.
So for those watching the recording, the answer is yes, the resources
Yes.
are shared between public and private.
Yeah, the resources are open. These are open resources, and the resources are shared between the public and the private universities. They are being shared by the universities. Yes. And like my colleague, she said, we have the SWAM platform where we have these MOOCs programs, MOOCs courses. So that is open to everyone, irrespective of the institution where they are working or the institution where they are studying, whether they are studying in private institutions or they're studying in public universities and colleges. It's open to everyone. And it, as she said, that we have this credit transfer facility also. So once they complete a particular course from there, they can transfer the credit from that course to their main program. So yeah, the resources are shared. Yes. And then we have international students also. In that platform, we have many international students also who are doing, who are completing these MOOCs. Yes.
Other questions or comments for Drs. Mukerji and Anjana? I have to say, this is amazing work that you all are doing. The Peralta Community College District is part of the California Community College System, and it serves 2.1 million students or so. So the fact that your one institution serves 3.4 million students is amazing. And I think when you talk about equity at scale, you all are demonstrating exactly how that takes place.
So anything, any other questions? Any other questions anybody would want to ask?
Kevin, can I come off mute just to congratulate them?
Please.
Your model is extraordinary. Congratulations. So when you say that you are living up to your country's expectations to reach your marginalized learners, I commend you, and we are at just the beginning of that journey. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure. It was a pleasure for us to share our experiences of the journey of our university so far, and especially the last 2.5 years. Let me tell you, it has been very tough. It has been very difficult, and it's still very difficult. We are available at, we've given our mail IDs here, siranmukerji@gmail.com and anjana.virbhan@gmail.com. We have our LinkedIn's also. So if anybody would like to have any further queries or any kind of discussions further to our presentations, we would always welcome that. And it's been really a pleasure being here, part of the Peralta Equity Conference. And we look forward to similar exchanges, similar interactions in the future also.
And can I confirm, because someone asked in the chat, is it okay that we share your slides and the resources that you've shared?
Yes, please do share with the audience, whosoever want to have our slides, please do share with them. And we are
Okay.
open to any further discussions. And thank you once again, Kevin and to them for providing us this opportunity. It was really a very nice experience being here with you all. And we look forward to be in touch with each other.
While I
Well,
was listening to your presentation, I was thinking Fulbright scholar in residence. Maybe we can get Drs. Anjana and Drs. Mukerji to come and work in California for the California Community College System as scholars in residence through the Fulbright exchange or something.
definitely a possibility to explore. We have their email addresses, so we will stay in touch. We have reached the end of our time, so I just would like to officially thank you, Drs. Mukerji and Anjana, for your sharing your ideas, for staying up late for us, and for just inspiring us to keep doing this work. I will put other ways to stay connected with the Peralta Online Equity Initiative in the chat if you want to follow us on social media. And I can see the LinkedIn. I know 2 people that will be getting connection requests very soon. Everyone else, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 14 minutes with our next session with, I think it's Amy Ort from Melissa Coe from University of California, Berkeley. We'll stop the recording now, and we'll see everybody again in just about 14 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.